Hello and welcome to Heroes of History, this time with an arena special. A few has asked me what will be a recommendable team to fight in the arena with, and to be honest it's hard to say, especially in the defense, because you don't know what the enemy puts up. I can pit Queen Boudica over here, but diagonally from her I could counter with another long range units that kill her off easily, or a strong hit point units that, well, it wouldn't do much harm to my side if they were stunned for a short while, if that could deflect her ability, and that way around every unit has their counter, and thus it is difficult. Now we could talk about places being a safe spot to put your heroes, because personally I would often put it in the middle here, because with 3 long range units in the back here, well, units in the back, where they often are, even in the front, will always shoot at the enemy first away if they are like Queen Boudica, and that's what you do to get a hit on the back line units. But the one in the middle is never the first away, at least not when you start. This is why I got Philip of Macedon here, because Philip is one of those great taunt heroes that drags everyone to shoot at him, and actually if you use it right, you'll get your long range unit to shoot at the middle guy, so you can even counter that too. I've even seen people put it in the front here, and in the front, well, it ain't the long range guys I'm worried about, because there can be plenty of long range units behind that is even further away for the enemy to shoot at, which could mean it's a safe spot. But people like D'Artagnan, Lancelot, or other close combat heroes, strong ones, can also take them out, because then there's another issue. Well, the units always attack the closest enemy, and that's not really a good thing being in the front line. Then if everyone is charging at you, it can be countered partly by having close range units behind and moving in front of them, but you still need someone to take the blame down back if they do long range units with the ability to hit the back side. So that's why I've chosen this. I have seen others with more healers in it. I've seen with fewer healers. The basic of not having healers is simply that you want to overcome the enemy front lines fast enough for them not to be able to retaliate or have a good use of their healers. Because, well, if you took out my strongest units to kill the enemy team early on, well, Hatshepsut could heal all she wanted, and these two guys will never win the fight anyway. So it is a good thing to have healers, but they can also be a setback. Actually, I've even seen people with 2 healers, or let's call it 2.5 healer. But let's look into how it looks in reality. Now here I have one of my alliance mates, and well, he is not too strong in the defense. As you can see, he has a lot more than I have here in terms of battle power. So let's set up the team like I usually do against him and win it, because that's an area damager, that's an area damager, that's an area damager, even that is an area damager, and this one is a supporter. Well, technically one of these is actually a defender, but it doesn't really help because they don't do single strike hits, so they don't really bog down my heroes. And with 2 close combat guys in the front, I have a couple of heroes that shares the damage given, and even with the Beethoven down here, he stuns them for a while every now and then, giving me even more pause to make sure I win this one. Now, it's not a big win, but considered how much more battle power he has than me, it is still a considerable win, because even if we are now down to 3-3, both of his last area damages, is close to dying, and now he only has his supportive unit, which is now dead. Now, even if you think you got the right team, even if you think you're up against someone that you can actually handle, you might not be, unless you know what you're doing. Well, I would not consider attacking places with the Cleopatra, personally, because that Pharaoh's puppet, it takes control of too many units, and it will turn my advances into disadvantages unless I put some relic on it that can resist that control. And well, I'm not into that business right now, and that's not what I want to show you next, because the next guy here is Joe, and well, he's not a teammate of mine, but Joe has an interesting setup here that I have struggled to learn how to overcome. As you can see now, if I use the same setup here, I'm bound to lose if everything still goes as back in the old days when I figured out he was a bit too hard to handle. Now, after this battle, I'll show you how a simple change in setup can actually make a battle go from defeat to victory. Now, as you can see here, that little guy in here is actually tearing me apart because I can't get to him and really kill him. This time I could actually. It's usually what was buggering down D'Artagnan here, so now it doesn't really show what I want to show because I actually got to him. But often if I didn't get to him, it is a matter of where to put my my D'Artagnan, because D'Artagnan, well, if he just can get to strike first, he can get to kill first, and usually I actually turn the formation this way, which means he will come up around here and into the back of him and make sure to have a full hit on him and take him out, because, well, those close combat guys here are really a nuisance to anyone that fights them if they are allowed to do the single strike hits right in the heart of the front line here. You can see here the long range here isn't the issue, because it doesn't fight off what I got up here. She is the one that's the issue, and there you can see why she's put in front, because you have two guys over here actually always playing the further away target, which would make sense for me to switch the two close combat heroes so I could get to her sooner, but alas, that's not really an issue here because it's not a close fight at all. Well, I hope you find it useful as how to set up your attack lines. I can hardly show you much difference in my setups, as I don't have really upgraded other heroes that is useful right now for arena fight. So this is actually what I can show you about it, but put in some single strike heroes that do really much single strike damage, and you'll be very, very great. Here's the Lancelot. As you can see, he has a tremendous amount of damage to give, while other single strike heroes might have some other secondary things, which is not bleed, which could be self heal or other things. But heroes like him is one of those you want to well, look out for, because they really kill your units and they kill them fast. Other single strike units, I'm not sure they got a lot to show here. Other of the specimens that is shown here of my opponents, well, there's Lena here. That's an okay amount. Well, it's only a 4-star, so it's not naturally not as much as Lancelot, but she's also, well, pretty evil, I think. And well, just look out for them and use your own of them as much as you can. I'll say thank you for watching this video.